Back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today, let's talk about Bitcoin's next move. What happened since yesterday? What happened overnight? And what's going to happen today, tomorrow, this weekend, and next week? Well, let's discuss if Bitcoin and crypto is going up or down. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you tune in twice every day, 11:30 and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And already have a big super chat from Bionic Bob Crypto. Thank you. That was fun this morning on Crypto Banter with Rand. So I think I dropped some bombs during that stream. Bionic Bob, shoot me an email. All right, let's do this. A lot of you guys are already in the live chat. Welcome. So, here we go. Bank cash flow, appreciate that. So, we're at, right around that 50,000 mark. 49.8, we hit 50,000, went down. We're kind of like just hovering right there. We're below this 50,700 support / resistance, right? So we're kind of iffy there. So what got us here? Well, unless you've been living under a rock, I've created 3 videos about this, and this is really this was really caused by this fear that capital gains tax is going to be raised to over 40%. And that is a lot. Yesterday it was reported at 39.6%, but now it's as high as 43.4%. Now, I talked about this on Rand's show this morning, but I'm going to talk about it again. There's a lot of fear because people think that if this goes through, if you include, let's say, your state taxes, according to this, if you're living in California, it could be as high as 56.7%. And if you're living in New York, it's as high as 52.2%. And anywhere else that charges state tax, that's quite a lot, right? So this obviously caused a lot of FUD yesterday. But you know what? Look at the stock market. Stock market is rallying up. Yesterday, Dow was down 300 points. Now it's up 200 points. So Wall Street overreacted. And now, you know what? They realize this is silly. First of all, this is not going to pass. This is just a proposal. And just like all negotiations, because this is a negotiation, you got to get Congress to approve, right? With all negotiations, you always start high. You overreach on purpose because there's going to be a counter, right? That's how it works. When you buy a car, unless you're buying a Tesla, it's how it works. The dealership comes back and says, okay, this is the price we want to sell you at. You're like, no, that's too high. I want to buy at this price. And they're like, no. We're going to want, okay, how about this? And then this. You go back and forth, right? So this is obviously just a ploy. Biden decided to just throw out the maximum number. He knows this is not going to pass, but at least it sets the stage. It gets people prepared, and then it starts a negotiation, right? So there was just a lot of FUD based on this. But obviously, because we're in crypto, the whales decided to take advantage. Take a look at the liquidations, the futures long liquidations. Yesterday, there was about 530 million long contracts squeezed out, liquidated. This morning, it grew to 715 million. You combine the two, that's over $1 billion. Again, longs liquidated. I don't know why anyone continues to still use long leverage. It's just you're setting yourself to be wrecked. Okay, a lot of us been through it. People have shared stories with me. I have heard it. I've been through it. It is not fun getting wrecked. And here's the bigger picture: you're setting yourself not only to get wrecked, but you're setting yourself for an entire community to be wrecked. Because when you have $1 billion worth of Bitcoins on these exchanges, it's getting liquidated and sold. What do you think that's going to happen? That's putting $1 billion worth of sell pressure on the open exchanges. Of course, that's going to have the effect on the price, right? So, this not only hurts yourself, but you're hurting everyone else in the space. Don't do it. don't leverage longs. If you want to go long, buy and hold. That's how you go long. Don't put in a 20, 50, 100x. It's just silly, and you're setting yourself and others up for failure. So I honestly think this had a lot to do with it. Of course, there's a lot of FUD that just being given out by like random people. All these people are saying, you know, the top is here and this and this and this. You know, you combine all that, it's going to have effect, right? And today also, another thing someone pointed out is there was a Bitcoin's option expiration that expired sometime this morning, like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for those of us in the U.S. And then that may have something to do with it. But bottom line is, there's a lot of FUD out there, a lot of fear, right? But you just go back, even go back a month. You go back 2 months. We have these kind of corrections all the time. We have them all the time. And they're usually more severe, right? So if you look at even in January, we had like a 30+% drop. Even in February, we had a 30% drop, right? So this is perfectly normal, even though there's fear and FUD that's driving things down. But if you just look at, you know what? You look at this as a normal correction, and you realize this is actually okay. And this is actually very, very normal. So this is definitely not time to be panicking. There's a lot of people that like to drive FUD on purpose because they missed out and they want to cause misery to others, or they've been liquidated and they have misery and they want to spread that misery. You want to ignore those people. You want to ignore those people. Now, a couple things I want to talk about in terms of this capital gains tax. It's probably going to go up. Not nearly as high as this, but it's probably going to go up from 20 to, I don't know, 25, 28, what people are saying. Here's the thing. Number one is capital gains is when you actually sell or trade in crypto, okay? So if you're a holder, you're a Bitcoin holder. It doesn't even have to be Bitcoin. You're an Ethereum holder. You're a Litecoin holder. You're an XRP holder. You're holding for long term. You're holding for life or wife-changing wealth. Well, guess what? You don't have to worry about it until you sell. As long as you're holding and you're not doing anything, well, you don't have to worry about capital gains taxes. So that's number one. Number two is this whole notion of, you know what, this is going to like destroy the wealthy. Like everyone's going to move out of the United States, which was brought up this morning. I thought it was just utterly ridiculous. And, you know, this is going to destroy the wealthy. The wealthy won't be able to do this and this and this. In turn, it's going to have a downturn, and then they're not going to be able to hire and all that. That's nonsense. Just nonsense. Talk and listen to any of the really wealthy people out there. They never pay taxes. They have all this tax haven stuff that they can utilize. There's always a loophole, and there's always investments that they can do. So the thing about this destroying the wealthy, that's utterly nonsense. That's nonsense. But the bottom line is, this is a proposal. You should not let this fear you out of the market. Okay? That's the bottom line. And what you need to contract, wait, hold on. There's a few super chats here. Okay. See, someone said, I purchased a 1 million on spot for BNB 568. Now I'm getting too much to lose. Help me. Why? I don't even know. I don't even know what you did there. If you just bought BNB at 568, that's fine. It'll come back. If you bought some kind of long leverage on it, then you're wrecked, man. Can you explain how long contract is opened? All the exchanges basically outside the US have it. Anyone, Binance, KuCoin, Bybit, BitMax, Bitfinex. Basically, it's a multiplier. When you buy it, it'll ask you, do you want 5x, 10x, 20x, 100x? And that's basically it. It's almost like spot trading, but you're buying futures, and there's a multiplier to it. So if it reaches a certain threshold and you don't have enough, they will just sell it. That's how it works. Jacob says, I've been burned longing, wrecked 11,000. That's actually not too bad. A lot of us has been burned six figures, over $100,000. That's much worse. What about the 3x leverage long and short tokens, less risk? I wish I heard you warn against longing like BitBoy and CryptoFace to big losses. I don't know. People tell me about CryptoFace all the time. Like, he puts in 1 million long or 5 million long, or whatever. I can't imagine his losses. I can't. Those leverage tokens, they're safer, but they still move very fast. You can't get liquidated on them, but they move very fast, and you can still see dramatic losses really quick. Yes, Raphael. I don't know why he was promoting GBDC, but anyways, I think he's a good guy. Okay, I got lost track there. Okay, so what should you concentrate on? Well, you know, there's just so much good news going on. Look at this. ARK Invest, I've been talking about this a lot. Cathie Wood, one of the most famous and respected investors out there. ARK Investment continues to buy more and more and more and more and more Coinbase stock. In fact, they have upped it to 1.5 million shares. And I did the math. This is about $700 million. This is within a single week. This is how much Cathie Wood believes in Coinbase's model, first of all. And second of all, how much she believes in Bitcoin. Cathie Wood has been a Bitcoin bug for a long time, and this is one of the ways to show it. If she did not believe in Bitcoin, she did not believe that Bitcoin was going to do well, there's no way she would be investing in Coinbase stock. And she continues to buy more and more and more, and the more it dips, the more she buys. Almost up to $1 billion already within a single week. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. Also, things that you should look at is this. Look at all the Bitcoins, the reserves of Bitcoin on the open exchanges. And you could see since May of last year till now, you could see how it's just going down and down and down and down and down. The less Bitcoin reserves there are on exchanges, the higher the price goes. And that's because the big boys, the institutions, are buying them up. They usually buy an OTC market. That's usually what happens. But sometimes the OTC market dries out. And where do you think the Bitcoin's going to come from? It's going to come from you. If you have weak hands and you're selling your Bitcoin, it's going to come from you. And you don't want to be one of those guys because they continue to buy more and more and more. And how do I know they're buying more and more and more? Well, just look at the headlines. Grayscale just yesterday added $1 billion to their crypto trust. Where's this $1 billion coming from? The institutions. So they're buying. They keep buying. Look at this one. Ethereum ETFs only off for like 3 days. Okay? Off to 138 million started already in trading volume. And there's 3 of them. And I checked it. The biggest one, I believe, is Purpose. They're already at like 30, 40 million. I didn't even check the 2 others, right? So Ethereum ETFs are off to a hot start. Even hotter than Bitcoin ETFs, I believe. So this also shows you there's a lot of buying going behind the scenes. When institutions are buying these ETFs, what do you think happens? These fund managers have to go out and buy Ethereum and hold them. That's how it works, right? So if the OTC market dries up, where is it coming from? The spot exchanges. It's coming from you if you're selling, right? So you just pay attention to the bigger picture, right? There's just so much out there, so much data out there, so much news. If you pay attention to the right ones, you put one and one together, and then you realize that, wow, the supply out there is actually very, very small. There's not that much Bitcoin out there. There's not that much, a lot of crypto out there. If you look at how much people there are on planet Earth, and how one day when they all know what you know, and they all want to get in, that's when things will be crazy. Things will be at moon level or Mars level, right? So right now it's still early, but you could see the institution adoption right in front of our eyes. And even from a utility standpoint, you know, look at PayPal and Venmo and these guys, Cash App, even Robinhood, right? They're not traditional exchanges. They're more financial apps, but they have a ton of users, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of users that can buy Bitcoin and crypto at a whim. You pull out your app and you could buy right away. And plus, let's not forget the volume. The new traders onto Coinbase and Gemini and Binance is exploding. It's exploding. So this is the bigger picture that you need to pay attention to. Not so much what guys are saying about, the top is here, top is near. This analysis shows you that, yeah, we should be retracing this and that, okay? That's not the bigger picture. That's not what you focus on. If you do, you'll just end up giving yourself so much stress, and you'll just stress yourself out, right? Pay attention to the bigger picture, and then you'll do just fine. So the strategy is the same as always, okay? You buy the dips, you dollar cost average, and you hold them. It's that simple. Now, some of you guys may say, oh, wow, Jordan, I don't have any cash to be able to buy the dips. Well, that's a lesson for you. Get some. Take profits on next way on the way up, or find a way to make more money. So that's side money, get a side hustle, whatever, right? To be able to dollar cost average, to be able to buy the dips. There's many ways to do so, right? And that's really the name of the game. The people that made the most money in crypto are the ones that held the longest. You won't show me any statistics that'll show traders, these active traders, made more money than the guys who invested early and held. The statistics there's none. You know why? Because it's not true, and it'll never be true. People that made the most money in crypto, and I would argue even the stock market, are the ones that simply bought projects and held, and that's it. That's it, right? And the other thing about trading is too many people get enticed in leverage trades, and then you know what? The leverage trades end up being like this. So it's unfortunate. All right, so that's pretty much what I want to say in terms of, okay, I guess I got to answer the question of, is Bitcoin going to go up or down this weekend? My bet is up, and here's why. And I'm going to even bring up some technicals, even though I don't like to rely on them. But you look at a daily for Bitcoin, and you'll realize that the RSI is at oversold level. It's at a level that we have not seen for Bitcoin, since when? Since Bitcoin was at 10,000. We went from 10,000 to 60,000, and we haven't seen the RSI on a daily this low since September of 2020. So that's a pretty strong indication that Bitcoin is oversold right now, right? We have not seen it since September. Think about it. So from a technical standpoint, to me, that screams bullish, okay? So that's number one. Number two is, look at the stock market. Yesterday's scare with Biden's proposed tax hike, brought down the market. Today, everything is great. It basically made up what the losses from yesterday. So the stock market, obviously, the general market, the consensus is, yeah, we're not going to take this serious because we know it's not going to pass, right? So there's no Wall Street pressure that's selling Bitcoin right now. So I say when the markets do well, Bitcoin generally does well too. So I think this is also bullish for Bitcoin. And also just look at the data, right? The data I've been showing you guys, they're all pointing upwards. So whatever's going on right now, I think we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it just fine, and we will see a recovery, and we will see a new high in the near future. Okay? Now, so with that said, let's do Q&A, but before I do so, I do have a new sponsor. Now, this project is very interesting. Some of you guys have asked me about it before. And, here we go. They are Graphlinq. So what is Graphlinq? Graphlinq is basically a way to build and visualize data, okay? And you could do a lot of stuff with that data, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So the easiest way to think about this is, for those of you guys that have used products like IFTTT or Zapier, there's a lot of event-driven stuff, like notifications, or if this happens, that happens. With Graphlinq, you can program those. You could program events that's based on blockchains, and exchanges and dApps, and you could program and have event-driven notifications or other things occur. But what Graphlinq does is make it visual for you guys, and also basically with no code. For those of you guys that are developers, if you use like Visual Studio, and stuff like that. It's very, very similar. And I will get to that. I'll just go ahead and show you what it looks like. It looks like this. So you have a blank canvas, but let's say you wanted to create, I don't know, you wanted to create a notification based on somehow ERC20 balance or something. So basically you do that, you double click and it comes up, right? Now, let's say you wanted to make that, I don't know, connect somehow to something on Uniswap, right? So you could also get that going, and then you could build things visually, and then you could connect them up. And this way, not only can you build it visually, but also you can execute. This is like a test bed, basically. So it's a really easy way to look at events, cause kind of like triggers through the events, and build it out and basically apply it. So according to this article they have, there's a really good example of what something could look like. So this is an overview of like a price bot. So you can see how things are connected and they're all event driven, and eventually you can have something like this that comes up, right? For it could be Twitter, it could be Discord, Telegram, whatever. So you could build a price bot, but of course you could go beyond that. But this is kind of an example of what you could do with Graphlinq. So kind of interesting. They recently did announce a few things. For example, they have added a whole bunch of exchanges. So if you wanted to grab data from exchanges such as Bittrex, Kraken, Bitfinex, Huobi, CoinX, and also Binance and KuCoin, they've been added. So if you want to get notified of something that's going on with these exchanges, you can now link up to them and grab that data. And also they have partnered up with Polygon recently, so that they're based on Ethereum, but they also have Binance Smart Chain integration, and they have partnered up with Maddox to utilize their layer 2 so that fees are less and there's no worries about high transactions, right? Or congestion, I should say. So Graphlinq looks pretty darn interesting. They do have a lot of things going for them. So if you're interested in them, their URL is in the description of this video. All right, that is it. Let's do some Q&A. I think, let me scroll up. Let's see what I missed. Merrick argues good traders can identify macro trends, will always make more than holders though. That's not true. Find a trader that made more money than Max Kaiser or Roger Ver just by holding Bitcoin. Find me a crypto trader that has made more money than those two. Or even the Winklevosses. Or even CZ. Find me a billionaire trader and one that has just actively traded and not held. And show me one that has made more money than any of those guys that just made money by simply holding. Opinion on Siacoin. It's a storage play. I think they're going beyond that. Last time I checked them, they're actually trying to create like a decentralized internet, kind of like going into NKN space, because they figure, well, we have all these people that have nodes already. Why not? So that does look pretty interesting. But from a decentralized storage aspect, there's a lot. Of course, Filecoin, I like Arweave. I mean, there's a lot that's out there right now. Jorge asked, this year's interest for staking and lending crypto is high, even with price falling. What about next year in the bull market? Well, I think it's going to increase. Now, there's different staking and lending, obviously, right? AMMs are a little bit different because these guys need liquidity, and they need you to provide liquidity. That's why they offer high APY. But then there's also staking, native staking from the projects, which basically is a reward for helping power the network. So that's a little bit different. Also, you do have traditional lending, and you have like companies like BlockFi, that is my sponsor, that will provide you with high interest rate because they do lend it out. They lend it out to institutions or to other people, depending on what project you use. So there's very many different kinds. So it just really depends. I joined late. Did you talk about future expiration, 9 lives? No, I have not. I'm glad you brought it up. So next week is futures expiration. So usually for the last 3 months, starting from Sunday on, it's been weak. But here's the thing. We've already been weak, right? So I'm thinking we may not see that kind of volatility going forward this week. I could be wrong. But seeing how we're just coming off a pretty good correction already, about 20+%. And plus, I think the market overall is shrugging off this Biden proposal thing. So, you know what? There's really nothing holding us back. And plus, traditionally in the past, I know a lot of data goes back to the last 3 months. But if you look at a lot of data in 2020 and 2019, there are a lot of expirations that's uneventful. And there's a lot where Bitcoin goes up. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Could you give more information on AMP and your price prediction? I don't need to give AMP price prediction. I like the project. I think when the pandemic is over and more people go out and spend money and use the Flex app, it's going to help AMP a lot. That's all you really need to focus on. InGen, I think, is a really good NFT play. I do like them quite a lot. I think they will do very well in the future. I have looked at MobiPay. I think they're a little bit early. They do claim they have a lot of partnerships with a lot of retailers, some of the biggest ones out there, right? But I like to see the usage first before I believe those claims, because they claim they partner up with a lot of big retailers. What do you think about privacy coins? I do not like them because centralized exchanges will not allow them to be listed. They want to be able to track transactions. This has already happened in South Korea. Basically, it happened in the United States already. It's going to happen in every other country. Basically, every privacy coin is going to be delisted one after another. Adam asked about Seascape. I have looked at them before. They kind of gone off my radar. Seascape is in NFTs, and you know what? Let me just bring them up. I haven't checked them out in a long time. Yeah, I remember they're into, well, they're NFTs, right? But they do have cross-chain bridge, so they live on multiple chains and they work on games and so forth. I remember that they had a pretty good team. I don't remember right off the mind, but there was something about this project that really caught me. I did talk about them in Patreon a while ago, but kind of dropped off my radar recently. When am I going to do a big podcast? I love to do it. You know, I'm trying to do more collaborations. Even a few smaller guys have reached out. I'm like, sure, whatever. You know, I'm paying back. I love to be invited on Joe Rogan, which is not going to happen. I'm way too small of a fish for that. But I love to get I love to go on CNBC. You know, there's some of the guys they bring on just have no clue about Bitcoin. So they just get asked and they just make some generic thing up that they really don't know what they're talking about. So I love to get on CNBC, even a small segment. I would love to do that. Merrick, that's assuming that you could time it perfectly. There's been many times that people have sold, then they realize that was a mistake because then things start going up, and then they had to buy back at a higher price. So then they ended up with less. It goes both ways, Merrick. It's never that simple. Thoughts on mining helium? I know a lot of people's getting into it. You can't get those miners. They're very, very hard. They're always sold out. So I do think it's a creative way to make money. It's a different way, and I like that project a lot. Someone asked me about Sonny's interview. I postponed it. I postponed all my interviews until I could get a new setup going. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I do it properly. I want to do it live. I want to do it nice, but I may have a hard time. Getting the right studio. So, what do you think of my H bar? It's the hype in Korea? Really? I wouldn't think they would be the hype in Korea. I did an interview with Mance. I think it's an interesting project. Still a little, I always say a little corporate. And, you know, if you listen to that interview, you realize they're very structured. Not an open source project. They're more like a closed corporation, almost. So they're a little bit different. That could carry them far with big companies, but for people that are looking for more of an open source thing, that's not what they're about. So I think they're promising to have good things coming up. Their new native token creation, you know, that's pretty cool. And they have a lot of other stuff coming. I can't comment too much on Silo. Some people think it's really nice. I haven't done a deep dive on them yet. Bat, OMG, Dash. Out of the three, I like Bat the most. I think OMG, I just don't know what they're doing with their layer 2. And Dash is a privacy thing. I don't know. I just don't. I'm neutral on them. StormX. I think they have potential. I think they have potential. I also did an interview with Simon, so check that out. Do you think PancakeSwap will surpass Uniswap? They can. The honest truth is they can. PancakeSwap itself has more transactions per day than all of Ethereum combined. Just take a second to think about it. PancakeSwap alone has more transactions than all of Ethereum combined. That's insane, right? So PancakeSwap, you can't ignore them. I think it'll go very hard, very, very far. However, not bad. Hey, I never said taking profits is bad. No one ever gets hurt taking profit, or no one ever gets poor taking profits, right? For me, I'm just saying for myself, okay? I believe in the long term. Right now, I believe we're in a bull market, so I'm just holding. If we have dips, great. But I just continue to hold, and it has done very well for me, right? Now, if fundamentally something changes, something dramatically changes, toward the end of the year, of course, I'll reevaluate. But, you know, I even create a video about profit taking. Rule number one is you always just take out your initial investment. If nothing else, that is what you need to do. Then you'll be protected. You take out your initial investment. But in terms of taking profits on way up, that's always a good strategy. You just have to find something that works for you. Hathor, I have not looked into it yet. Is there a significant long-term advantage to holding 32 ETH? I don't know why you came with that number, because of staking purposes. But no. Now, there are times where Ethereum moves better than Bitcoin, right? Right now, we're seeing one of those times. But I like to remind you guys, I do actually have to pull this up. Bitcoin dominance in 2017 also fell like what we're seeing now. It fell from 80s down to 30s, okay? But guess what happened? 30s climbed right back up to 60s. And during that climb, Ethereum, which is this dark blue, fell down very hard. So there will be times where it's like a mini altcoin season or altcoin season. But then things could turn really hard for Bitcoin. And we have seen that in 2017. And we could see that again in 2021. So I know a lot of people are just converting everything to altcoins right now. But things could turn on a dime really, really quickly. So that's why I think it's best to just be diversified. That's it. Be diversified. You like Ethereum, you like VET, you like Solana, you like these, you know, big projects, right? It's okay to hold them. It's okay to hold multiple projects. Follow the 50-25-25 rule and it'll work. Is there a way to find out how many people are getting liquidated after joining or the affiliate link? No, I don't think that exists. Hybrix, yeah, I have to do more research on them. I put them on my maybe list to look at. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go. Overall, Bitcoin is right around 50,000 again. But I like to remind you guys, this is perfectly normal. We have seen drops like this before, and Bitcoin has always came back. But there are a lot of things I'm looking forward to. From a technical standpoint, you look at RSI on a daily chart, we have not been this low or this oversold since September of 2020. So that tells you something. That tells you that we can be doing something like this right afterwards, right? If this is any indication, If this is any indication. And the last time we were even lower than that was when Bitcoin is at 3,800. Okay? So if you're looking at it from that point, you look at what happened after RSI went this low. Well, we did this. And then what happened when we fell down? We did this. So if history repeats, we can see a tremendous, tremendous rise from this. But we're a little bit early, but I just want to show you from a technical standpoint, RSI is extremely low. We haven't seen this for many, many, many months. But also, just want to point out, this capital gains tax is a proposal. It's not going to be this high. No one thinks it's going to be this high. And there's many ways that, you know what, you just don't have to worry about, okay? And I want to say that leverage trading, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And pay attention to everything else that's going on that I've been talking about. Then you realize everything is just fine. Everything is just fine. All right, guys, that's it. Lexi looking to Phantom. I like Phantom. I like Phantom. So they have a native DEX called Spooky Swap. That's a horrible name, but I get it because it's called Phantom. So I guess. Good to know. Good to know. But I do like Phantom quite a lot. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Tune in tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and have a good one until then.